Hey y'all, Kristen here with another hashtag Wednesday Wisdom. This week I want to talk about kind of a touchy subject real briefly, and that subject is dating. Now, quite a few of you have heard part of my testimony and know kind of what my ministry is in regards to who I'm married to and the fact that I kind of lucked out in the sense that it was somebody that I've known ever since I was little. Spoiler alert, we didn't get along until post-college. But today is not about me necessarily. One of the greatest gifts that parents can give to their children is the gift of marriage. And my parents have been celebrating over 30 years. My in-laws have been celebrating over 40 years. It was not always easy. They did not have the most beautiful of marriages at certain times in their lives, but both of them have managed to stay together. So when it comes to dating, one of the things that I always tell girls that I mentor and pour into is that whatever you catch someone with is what you're going to keep them with. You go out on a date and you do have a one-night stand, you're catching somebody with that physical relationship. I do not keep it a secret that I waited till marriage and that it was very important for my husband and I to wait until marriage to be able to add that physical element into it. And people used to joke that one day we would just end up married and skip the dating relationship altogether. The Bible describes we have brothers and sisters in Christ and then we have marriage. All of a sudden in society we've added this middle ground where there's dating, but we've taken the brothers and sisters mentality in Christ and we've added benefits to it. So we're living in a way that we're enjoying the benefits of marriage, but without the responsibility and the support of marriage and what marriage actually is intended to be, with leaving your father and mother and clinging to your husband or wife. And if you aren't ready to be married, then you really shouldn't bother dating. Everything that you can learn about somebody that you fall in love with and everything that you learn about them during the process of dating can be learned during the process of friendship. And I believe that friendship really, really is an important value, an important base to have in any relationship. A lot of people don't even think about the fact that motion creates emotion. So sex creates emotion and it creates ties. There's no such thing as casual sex. I don't care what society tells you. There is always much more to it. It is deeper. It's meant to be deeper. God created it to be a deep emotional and spiritual thing happening between you and one other person. And what's crazy is society really does throw so many different definitions and so many casual terms out there in regards to sex. If parents don't step up and give their children a definition of sex and the right and wrong of physical relationships, then the world's going to step in and it's going to do it for us. They already are. It doesn't matter what parental blocks you have on things. There's apps, areas of Snapchat and Instagram that your parent blockers do not work on. And unfortunately, as a teacher and as a mentor, I see the negative side effects of parents that are letting society make those definitions for their children. Instead of seeking good advice and godly counsel, we're seeking people that will just sympathize with our sinful nature. Sympathizing with sin is not what we need. We need that counsel and we need that accountability, and we need to make sure that within our relationships we are building people up, but not only that, we're expecting people that are going to bring us up. And when the timing is right and after you've built that friendship and you've built that foundation and you do have God as your foundation, you'll be able to build it up from there. And please don't think that you need to jump there simply because you have that physical attraction and it's just so strong. I believe that there is something beautiful about loving and just wanting somebody so badly that you respect them so much that you wait. Not letting lust get in the way, but letting love overcome. If for some reason you're in a relationship and it is somebody that's trying to pressure you, that's because of their vision, not because of your value. Another illustration that I used to use a lot when I would go and speak at events with young girls is I would take a piece of paper, like a heart-shaped paper, or even a rose, and I would pass it around. I'd tell everybody to take a piece of that. And then by the time it got back to me, it was always, either just the stem of the rose or just a small piece of that heart fragment that was back to me. And I told them, think about this as every time that you are engaging in a physical relationship with somebody else, you are leaving a piece of yourself with each of those people. I'm not saying that physical relationships just cause you to be baggaged and bruised and beat up. They can. They definitely can. You're making yourself more susceptible to that. But I am saying that there is a way to turn from one lifestyle and turn towards a lifestyle that is based on finding relationships based on God and based on friendships and adding the elements together in a way that's going to build you up rather than leaving you susceptible to being torn down. It was not easy for me. I went through a lot of heartbreak. I went through not understanding why family members of mine would allow themselves to be in abusive situations, and just kind of growing up wondering why they allowed themselves to be treated that way, and then all of a sudden finding myself in that type of abusive relationship, and realizing I got here because I thought I could help somebody and I thought I could fix them, and in the process I was letting myself get torn down and torn apart, and that is not what dating relationships are meant to be. Another phrase that people tell me sometimes is that they feel like they have Mr. or Mrs. right now, not necessarily Mr. or Mrs. right, and that they need to learn to love the person that they're with rather than waiting to love the person that they were meant to be with. It can be so hard to have the patience to wait and get introduced to people and put yourself out there on the line. I get it. It's hard. It's intimidating. Please don't feel like you have to settle for whoever you're with right now, and realize that there is somebody out there for you, and it's a matter of finding the right person. Write down the top 10 things that you want in a future spouse. Set your bar high. Do you want them to be a family person, to love Jesus, work in a certain field? Pray over that person, better yourself, and prepare yourself for that person. I started praying and writing letters to my spouse years ago. As my list evolved and as I grew as a person and as I matured in my relationship with the Lord, I found somebody that came in and fit all of those holes perfectly. I was not even looking, and the Lord brought somebody in that just pushed my buttons in every way possible, but all in a way that helped push me to be a better person. And it was exactly what I want during a time when I did not think that I even wanted it or needed it. The Lord just stepped in and said, you need to grow. Here's who's going to help you grow, as a friend for 2 years before we even started dating, which then led to an engagement, which then led to marriage. And I'm not saying that that's the exact form that everybody needs to do. I'm just simply giving you my heart and my advice and my guidance based on what I've been through in life. So my challenge to you this week is reach out to somebody. Find somebody that can either be accountability for you, somebody that can pray for you, somebody that can help you figure out what your top 10 things are that you are like, yes, those are the 10 traits that I want in my future spouse. I know what I want, I know what I deserve, and I know what my value is, and that's exactly what I'm going to expect. I hope you've enjoyed this week. I really appreciate it. Again, please feel free to reach out to me if there's anything else I can do for you. God bless, and gig 'em.